Hey buddies, SomeNutzGuy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far, and welcome back for more RLCraft. The day is finally here. We've been waiting patiently, and some of us not so patiently, for the final release of RLCraft version 2.9.2, which has officially launched on Curseforge as of today. I'm going to be going through the changelog, all the patch notes, all of the phenomenal amounts of changes and mods that have been added and removed and updated, etc., etc. For those of you that would rather have someone read that to you than scroll through and read the giant list of changes yourselves. Before we get started, though, I wanted to give a little shout out to a true RL crafter named Damien. Damien and his family are starting, the whole family are starting an RLCraft server now that 2.9.2 is launched, and they're going on a full family, all of them together, on an adventure in 2.9.2, and I think that is super duper cool. So you guys have given me a lot of luck throughout my series, throughout a lot of the episodes that we've had, and I wanted to share some of that luck with Damien and his family to give them a fortuitous adventure in 2.9.2. So if you could smash that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's go. Just before we jump into the changelog, I wanted to show you guys how to update your mod pack, just in case any of you guys weren't sure. When you go to your My Mod Packs here in Curseforge and you scroll over your RLCraft, you might have a little change version button here. If you don't, you can right click here and there should be a change version button here. If you've modified your RLCraft pack at any point, i.e. you've gone in here, gone to profile options and ticked allow content management for this profile so you could add other mods, you won't be able to change version. You'll see that the change version changes to an add more content button. So if you want to update, you'll just go back to profile options, disallow content management, and then your change version should reappear again. As you can see, there is a phenomenal amount for us to get through here. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. We're going to put on a little bit of chill music in the background, a little bit of ambiance. I'll put on my best ASMR reading voice, and we're going to go through this together. All right, music on, check. ASMR voice activated, check. Humorous inputs and quips activated. All right, here we go. RLCraft version 2.9.2, investigative AI, end structure overhaul, combat rework, and dragon steel. Shivaxi, I love your evil mind. We do have a lot to get through, so I'll try and keep a good pace here. From an initial 2.9 release, this update has been over a year in the making. Thank you to everyone who's been waiting so patiently, to the awesome RLCraft communities, all the folks helping test things, report bugs, everyone who worked on RLCraft, which is credited at the end of the changelog, making this update possible. And of course to his sponsor, Shivaxi, sponsored by Bisect Hosting, who, without, he wouldn't have had the time to work on RLCraft so much. I really hope you enjoy this update. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of new stuff, changed stuff, reworked and overhauled stuff, and should theoretically be a whole new beast for you to conquer. Enjoy. Thanks for that little note, Shivaxi. To see all the initial changes for version 2.9, you can go to this link here, available in the changelog section in Curseforge. 2.9.2 changes below. Important info. 2.9 and 2.91c worlds are mostly compatible, and this is a point that Shiv wanted me to hammer home. Mostly compatible. There will be little issues because really it's recommended to start a new world for the new version 2.9.2. If you do want to update one of your 2.9 or 2.91c worlds, there are two commands you'll need to run if you insist on staying on these old worlds. You'll need to run the command, these two commands loaded here, which I'll put in the description below for you so you can just copy and paste them. If you're on a single player world, you'll need to hit escape, open to LAN, allow cheats, then start the LAN world. Then you run these two commands. Then you can save and quit the world and then load back in. You'll be out of the LAN mode and you should be good to go. You will also need to run /fml confirm, which is for servers only on first boot to confirm some item registry changes. So again, old worlds porting over to 2.9.2, not recommended. If you insist on doing so, you'll have to run these commands. If you update from 2.9 or 2.9.1c to 2.9.2, please note the following. New structures will require new chunks to generate. There will not be new structures in areas that you've already explored. Races will be reset and will need to be reapplied. JEI will not show enchantment applications correctly. There's no fix other than a new world. There is a slight possibility enchantment IDs may shift, though in our testing, enchantment IDs remain the same. If you are wearing a backpack, all your items will drop on the ground, and we recommend new worlds and always make backups when updating your Curseforge profile. 2.8.2 worlds are not compatible with 2.9 or beyond. If you attempt to update an old world, you will likely run into issues, crashes, and quests not working. Use the latest Forge. Due to recent Log4j exploits found in Java, you will want to use the Forge version ending in 2860 or later. We recommend latest Forge currently. Command blocks must be enabled in server.properties file, otherwise villages and structures won't work. If you're using Optifine, you can no longer use the E3 version. 2.9 and beyond will require G5 or later. Better foliage has been updated with shader support. If your leaves and grass are not waving with your shaders, press F8, go to shader configuration and add 100 to the beginning of the grass and leaves block ID. So it should look like 10018 and 10031. Silders currently needs this. Other shaders may use different IDs though, such as Complementary Reimagined using 10004 and 10008. The default allocated 3 GB of RAM should still be perfect for 2.9 plus. You should not allocate more than 4 GB for your client, as this ends up causing Java garbage collection to go wonky. Very scientific, I know. Server info. Many performance fixes for servers to the point where 2.9 plus servers should no longer require frequent restarts for clearing RAM or cache. Restarts are still recommended, of course, just in case, but we ran a 2.9 plus server for 2 weeks straight with no restarts and 0 issues. So I think that says something at least. Massive credit to Charles, good job Charles, for a ton of the insane performance fixes. Server.properties settings. New. Servers must enable command block. Set this to true in your server.properties file or structures won't generate correctly and villager spawns will be missing. Allow flight must be true for flying mounts, fairy ring, and more, or the server will wrongly kick players. Max tick time must be -1, that's -1, for large structures generating and for pre-genning worlds. And difficulty should be set to 3, hard, for the correct balance and features RLCraft is centered around. New features. Investigative AI. Potion-dipped weapons returns. Combat reach fixed and reworked. Enchantment reworks. New end cities and nether cities. All new end structures. Reworked roguelike dungeons and new Lycanite water dungeons. Rebalanced Lycanite mob events. New champion mobs. New unique tooltips for classes of items. Backpacks finally a bauble. New secret baubles. Oh god, what is that in the lost error message interrupted? And an absolute load of dupes, exploits, bugs, and performance issues fixed. Here's a list of the mods that have been updated. Better Survival, Chunk Animator, RLTweaker, Doomlike Dungeons, Dynamic Trees, Entity Culling, First Aid, Foam Fix, Forgotten Items, Grappling Hook, ISeeDragons, Lycanite Mobs, Mod Tweaker, Particle Culling, Recurrent Complex, RLTweaker, Scape and Run Parasites, Shieldbreak, Snow, Real Magic, and Varied Commodities. Mods that have been added: better biome blending, brand new animated and emissive textures for SNR Parasites, Defiled Lands, Forgotten Items, and various others, courtesy of ArtsyD. Thank you, Artsy. Champions, Frame Void Patch, Legendary Tooltips, Material Tweaker, Reach Fix, which replaces Potion Core's Reach Fix, RL Artifacts, RLCombat, which replaces Better Combat, RLMixins, several new compatibility fixes and tweaks, Spartanfire, RLCraft Edition, which replaces Spartanfire, and Surge and Wearable Backpacks, RLCraft Edition, which replaces Wearable Backpacks. Mods that have been removed. Better Combat replaced with RLCombat, Spartanfire replaced with Spartanfire RLCraft Edition, and Wearable Backpacks replaced with Wearable Backpacks RLCraft Edition. Main updates and changes. Animated textures and emissives for RLCraft. All new animated and emissive textures for the following mods: Advanced Fishing, Aquaculture, Armor Under, Bountiful Baubles, Defiled Lands, Familiar Fauna, Fishing Made Better, Forgotten Items, Lycanite Mobs, Potion Fingers, Quark, Scaling Health, Simple Difficulty, Scape and Run Parasites, Switchbow, and Trinkets and Baubles. Better Survival. Fixed dipped weapons. You can now once again, yes, this worked in 2.8.2, dip your weapons into cauldrons filled with potions to apply the effect to your weapon. Flamed and ice variants of Dragonbone Better Survival weapons are added. Fixed a dupe bug issue regarding multi-shot and infinity enchantments and switchbows with custom arrows. Fixed and re-enabled Myrmex weapon variants. Fixed a dupe bug with arrow recovery enchantment. Stun on hammers now fixed, diffuses creepers and stuns flying and swimming mobs, and duration increased. Stun and disarm chances for hammers and battle axes have been improved, now 15% chance for both. Better Survival stun and disarm enchantments now increase stun and disarm chances by 10% per level. Stun potion effect is now registered as a negative potion effect. Milky is now a positive potion effect. Nunchakus reworked, swing speed and bonus damage is adjusted. Nunchakus can no longer swing when a shield is raised. Ripped the Nunchaku players. Nunchakus no longer break everything. Ice and Fire Nunchaku variant textures reworked. Fixed Dragon Bone Dagger recipe. Battle Axe can now take axe enchantments. Spears should no longer accidentally hit yourself upon throwing sometimes. Spear reach reduced to plus 0.5 blocks to match new reach with Spartan Weaponry. Anti-warp potion effect should stop all forms of warping and teleporting now. And fixed vampirism working on non-living entities. Bountiful. Reworked some bounty board rewards and quests. All fish values increased. Min and max required adjusted. Increased chance for rare bounties to appear from 27 to 30%. Increased bounty rarity worth. Rare bounties are worth more now, so common is 1x, uncommon is 1.2x, rare is 1.4x, and epic is 2x. Added cleansing talisman to rewards pool. Champions. Information redacted. I will actually be creating a guide on champions at some point. There's a lot of information on the wiki if you guys want to check that out. If you don't, you can just wait for the video guide that I'm going to do at some point in the near future, which will go through everything to do with champions. Dynamic surroundings. Mobs may be a little chattier than usual. Enabled chat bubbles above players' heads. Fixed ambient nether sounds not playing. Added missing armor sounds to wool, ice, sea serpent, deathworm, troll leather, myrmex, umbrium, bookworm scale, and golem armors. Added canteens, juices, and rustic elixirs and juices to potion sound effects. Added all custom books, papers, and maps to book sound effects. And added firefly particle effect to lily pads. Swamps look very nice now. First aid. Fix negative armor attribute, armor reduction through quality tools not being displayed properly. Fix a compatibility issue with the first aid crashing due to other effects going over the damage cap in very specific circumstances. Forgotten items. Fix golem armor chestplate and leggings protection values being swapped. Golem chestplate now has 19 from 15. Golem leggings now has 16 from 20. Added new golem armor item textures courtesy of ArtCD, thank you Artsy, and fixed exploit where Vein Pickaxe worked on tile entities causing issues and dupes. Ice and Fire. Dragons can now have a maximum health of 1000 up from 800. Fixed Dragon Bite always doing flat damage no matter their stage or age. Dragon Bite will now scale the higher stage and age they are. Dragons now heal after eating mobs, equal to their bite damage. Fixed dragons taking damage at end of render distance when they're technically unloaded and not ticking. Fixed dragons getting stuck in water. They should now try to fly if in water and has a target. Fixed placed dragon and myrmex eggs despawning for some reason when leaving the area or unloading the chunks. This is a great fix actually. Fixed an exploit with myrmex trades. and increased amphitheater bite damage when taming. Was 1.0, now 2.0. Smile. ISeeDragons. Fixed statue dupes. Thank the Lord. Blacklisted all SR parasite mobs from being stoned. And battle tower golems now have the correct render distance and can be seen from far away. Legendary tooltips. All new tooltip borders and themes for various items, tiers, and groups of items. Artwork by Artsy. Thanks again, Artsy. And these are actually really cool. I really like these. Lycanites. Lycanite mobs are now affected by crouching and invisibility, properly reducing target range. The following Lycanite mobs are immune to sneak and stealth and invisibility. Crake, Beholder, Reaper, Banshee, Epion, Grell, Grigory, Joust, Joust Alpha, Lurker, Krusk, Gorger, Serpix, and Triffid. Fix several memory leaks in Lycanite mobs. Fix pets and mounts desync when relogging, respawning, or entering new dimensions. Fixed Pixen not dropping the Trickster charge. Fixed Daewon's subspecies variants not dropping diamonds. Vulcan mini-boss in Lycanite Dungeons now drop amphibian soulstones instead of elemental soulstones. Vulcans now drop magma charges instead of ember charges. Fixed Asmodeus drops now drops aberrant stone instead of demon stone, and no longer drops demon soulstone or wrath sigil. Charge drops replaced. Slightly increased base speed for Feridons, Wogs, and Daewons. Added Insomnia back to the Reaper's projectile. Fixes Soul Contract not unbinding correctly. Fixes issues with multiple Lycanite items in offhand, killing main hand items. Fix crash with Lycanite Fire and Sirens from Ice and Fire. Added missing damage to Wildkin Arm and Frostweaver leg parts. Frostweaver leg part now slows enemies. Fixed Etten Club part not scaling damage and knockback at level 2. Beholder sight range increased from 32 to 36, which makes sense since they're just a giant floating eyeball. Beholder projectile sounds fixed to no longer clip and distort. The volume has been lowered, which is nice. Fixed a potential memory leak or crash with the arcane laser sound. Underwater Lycanite spawners fixed. Underwater Doom-like dungeons should now work correctly. Get fucked. Added brand new Streamshine Lycanite dungeons. Spawns in deep ocean cannot be a tower variant. Added brand new Streamstone blocks. Lycanite dungeon entrances should now generate on the surface properly. Water Lycanite mobs will no longer be chosen for vanilla dungeon spawners. Oops. Kobolds, Conkabeads, and Quillbeasts can no longer be selected for a dungeon mob spawner. Kick. Lycanite mobs should no longer target stone statues. Raider type mobs no longer automatically attack illagers. Laser charges and projectiles trace method more accurate, which should prevent the laser from going through walls. Trace method for portal placement when using a summoning staff improved and more accurate. Added zombie pigment to the nether portal spawner. Vanilla nether portal spawning is now disabled. Kobolds now spawn in daylight. Paleo salad now requires blossom leaves instead of oak leaves to craft. Lowered mob size scaled of Gilded Greatworm boss to 2x from 3x. And fixes severe lag issues when Gilded Greatworm tried to attack any target. Lycanite bosses now have a chance to send mobs after you with investigative AI. Fixed a bug where certain mob events would spawn mobs like crazy if a player was sitting in the death screen. This affected Shadow Games, Cinderfall, and some others. Rebalanced and reworked all Lycanite mob events, and this is actually a huge one because mob events weren't working the way that they were supposed to since literally the beginning of 2.9. Most mob events have a slightly longer spawn delay, so mobs do not spawn immediately anymore, giving players more time to react. Many mob events reduced to have a total of 48 mobs, was 60. Some remain at 60 for easier events with less powerful mobs. Dragon's Roar and Sharknado have a greater delay, with more mobs spawning at once, but less mobs in total. Poop Party and March of the Gorgomites stream mobs in quicker. Tsunami now properly spawns Jengus, and certain events like the Swarm rebalance to spawn more Vespids than Konbas. RLTweaker. Fix Myrmex Chitin weapons, tools, and armor not being repairable. Jungle Myrmex weapons and tools are now repairable with the correct type of Myrmex Chitin, that being jungle of course. Blindfold and earplugs no longer provide armor, get wrecked. That's actually a hardcore beginning strat, was to use blindfold, or I guess earplugs would be what you used to get some early game armor. Damn. Golem armor durability has been buffed. Golem armor now gives +4 armor toughness from +4.5 because I like even numbers. I don't know. Golem armor now uses steel as its repair reforging material instead of obsidian. Fixed and added repair recipes for all SR parasite weapons. Fixed armor values on Sea Serpent chestplate and leggings being swapped. Tide Guardian armor now gives +1 armor toughness from 2.5 because it shouldn't be better than Dragon armor. Potion Core. Added a potion sickness effect when having 13, spooky number, or more positive potion effects at once. Fixed potion core .damage resistance attribute doing some wacky incorrect calculations. Reach potion is now half a block per level to match the new Spartan Weaponry reach effect, and replace potion core's broken reach calculations, replaced with reach fix, which has more info under the RLCombat. Quark. Added more maps to Cartographer, can now find Pathfinder maps to various defiled land biomes, meadow and badlands from Traverse, and glacier biome from Ice and Fire. Fixed rune recipes. Fixed sync of sign edit toggle for servers so they can disable it if using sign plugins. And enabled linking items to chat so people would stop bugging me. Lel. I love Shivaxi's little quips in the changelog. It adds some good personality to it. Reskillable. Re-enabled Agility 4 requirement on tool belt. Gold and diamond quivers now require Agility 4 and Agility 8 to wear. The Lucky Horseshoe has been re-enabled and requires Agility 32. Flare Gun re-enabled and it works best with Optifine. Undershirt now requires 12 Agility, was 4, and 16 Defense, and was 12, as well as 8 skill points, which was 6. Broken Heart now requires Magic 16. Effect Twist now requires 6 skill points, was 8. Blacklisted a bunch of foods from the Hungry Farmer skill, XAT items, iron berries, all raw fish, etc. Swapped equipment infuser and equipment station requirements. Fixed to Nibraseed not having a farming requirement, and Elytra is now just a Agility 32 requirement. Roguelike Dungeons. Mobs now get lower enchanted gear at earlier floors and higher enchanted gear at later floors. Chance for mobs to get enchanted gear increases 20% per floor of the dungeon. Both of these changes should fix every mob getting thorns all the damn time, but will still be thorny at deeper floors. Giggity. Fixed house entrance generating 1 block too high. Added TIE fighters. Fixed an issue where certain dungeons were not randomizing the generation correctly. Fixed an issue where hallways were generating too short. The 2 above changes should make roguelike dungeons feel larger and more labyrinth-like, with more varied rooms as well. Fixed cake room. I swear, it's not a lie. Mob spawners rooms have the mob spawner in the center again, DOG way. Hidden walls and secret rooms chances increase each floor, and the items roguelike mobs can wield are more varied. RLCombat, which replaces better combat. Fix the player's reach constantly doing incorrect calculations, which was caused by Potion Core, causing variable reach distances and hit detection sometimes not working at certain angles, now using Reach Fix. A player's reach is now consistently 4.0 blocks, 4.5 for placing blocks, and should feel a lot more solid and responsive. Reach should now work across the board as intended, and combine correctly from things like qualities, Spartan reach weapons, reach potion effects, etc. Fix jump crypts being doable at max reach when it wasn't supposed to be enabled, but jump crypts now can be done if the player is within 2 blocks of a mob, otherwise it defaults to random crits like normal. Crits can only be done at full energy now, full weapon cooldown. Fixed weapon cooldowns in offhand. Fixed weapon attributes not applying correctly in offhand, such as from quality tools. Fixed reach in offhand not working, now using reach fixed. Fixed attacking multi-part entities in offhand. Fixed most enchantments in offhand. Fixed sweeping edge not working, and general mod compatibility added. RLMixins. Eye level changes are now smooth, and lowered crouching eye level, similar to newer Minecraft. Fixes Baubles unequipping when entering end portal due to having reskillable requirements. Fixes Flare Gun, removes albedo dependency. Flare Gun is now usable and has new features. Fixes trumpet causing gluttony effect with the gluttony pendant, not eating the trumpet. Fixes render bounding boxes on many Lycanite mobs. Fixes render bounding boxes on several ice and fire mobs. Fixed a dupe exploit with tool belt. Fixed a dupe exploit with the switchbow quiver. Blights and infernals no longer enter boats. Get wrecked. Anvils now properly display proper level required instead of saying too expensive. And this is a phenomenal change. I'm so happy about this. Finally, I can stop having an absolute ton of people telling me that my enchanting guides are incorrect because it's saying too expensive on their anvil. Thank you, Shivaxi. Fixed food expansion, foods deleting entire snack of food upon eating one. Fixed rune, piercing capabilities enchantment, now works consistently and does not break other enchantments. No longer incorrectly bypasses the defense attribute of specific Lycanite mobs. Fixed particles not rendering in certain instances, most notably dragon breath attacks now correctly spawn particles. Canteens properly get filled with purified water now instead of dirty water from rain. And fix the iron canteen and dragon canteen not being able to collect water from a rain collector. Broken Heart Bauble fixed and reworked, which is fantastic. It's now probably a very good bauble that is actually very viable, but does require, of course, the 16 magic requirement previously mentioned. Obsidian Skull Bubble fixed. Added encumbered potion effect for backpacks. Netherwort Stew Crash fixed. Bounty boards can no longer be glitched to break. Golden Bookworm armor can now be repaired with the Golden Osmosis skill from Reskillable. That's cool. Undershirt skill from Reskillable now works correctly and has a sound effect, slightly reworked in order to work with first aid. Infernal mobs no longer spam your game with particles when the game is paused, and mending will prioritize damaged items first, like newer Minecraft versions. Bauble Reforging Station no longer removes Curse of Binding armor. Fix the Sweeping Edge enchantment compatibility due to changes in the sweep weapon property. It can only be applied to sweep 1 weapons. Added Cleansing Talisman. This can be combined with any enchanted book to give you an enchanted book of Cursebreak. Added Cursebreak Potion made with the Cleansing Talisman. Steel weapons do +2 damage to nether mobs and fire elementals now. Vanilla nether portal spawner disabled. Lycanites takes this over now. Revival potion only works on players now. Tipped arrows of revival no longer work. They can be made, just don't do anything. Tipped arrows of Cursebreak no longer work. Also can be made, just don't do anything. Fix teleporting long distances with Grave Scroll, causing massive lag. Game still breaks if you try teleporting 300,000 blocks, so don't. Fix cow milk cooldown and squid ink collection cooldown not working. Can no longer shear stoned chickens. Stoned chickens no longer passively drop feathers. Fixed rare bug with first aid that could cause player to enter fake death state. Fixed a bug with scaling health that could cause mobs to enter the fake death state if mobs took damage in the same tick that they spawned. And fixed stray husk mob spawners not working, which is great for those of you guys trying to get the Ring of Overclocking or the Forbidden Fruit for your Ankh Shield. Curing a zombie villager from a mob spawner will now count towards the kill count for that spawner to automatically break. Clay Tool is no longer enchantable on an enchanting table. Fixed an exploit with the Gorgon Head. Fixed a crash with the disenchantment table. Fixed potion effects not displaying a Roman numeral above 4 on potions higher than level 4, up to X. You can now eat potatoes and carrots even though they require farming 4. Yo, Pog. RLTweaker adds investigative AI, which is so cool. I think it's a really awesome addition. Certain smart mobs will now search for you or have a chance to search for you if shooting them from far away. The further you are, the less accurate their search will be. Certain group mobs can call upon friends to search with them. Clean up world gen files, mineshaft crash fix. Now it does not check for loaded chunks. Potion sickness and effects from potion sickness are now incurable from cure. However, cure will still cure negative effects from other sources. Inebriated and effects from inebriated are now incurable from cure. Cure will still cure negative effects from other sources. Cure potion effect no longer cures hunger, thirsty, hypothermia, hyperthermia, or bleed effects. Fix real bench dupe bug again. Fixed chest of drawers, better nether, not dropping items it contained when destroyed. And fixed bauble modifier books, modifying original item instead of output item in an anvil. Rustic. Wine from Rustic now increases duration by 1 minute at a full 1.0 quality instead of 2 minutes, and to a maximum of 5 minutes instead of 10. Rustic ale, cider, and meat effects have been reworked. Water bottles no longer reduce the effect of inebriation. Coffee will now reduce the effect of inebriation at a higher rate than water bottles did. I think this is quite a funny change. Scaling health. On fire damage type now scales at a 0.5 multiplier with your max heart, was 3.0. Oops. Drowning damage type now scales at a 0.5 multiplier with your max hearts, was 0.1. Dragon breath damage type now scales at a 0.5 times multiplier. This is Ender Dragon, not Ice and Fire Dragons. Hypothermia and Hyperthermia and Parasites damage types now scale at 0.25 times. Starve damage type now scales at 0.5 times. Dehydration damage type now scales at 0.25 times. And Out of World damage type will scale 100%. And all of these are with your max hearts. Scape and Run Parasites. Yes. I love that. There's a lot of new stuff with the Scape and Run Parasites. There's a lot that I need to learn and figure out. There's new effects and abilities and attacks and even new parasites. I will learn these over time and then at some point put out a guide on the Scape and Run Parasites so that we can all know what the heck is going on and what is meant by simply yes. Shieldbreak. Successfully parrying a timed block, a mob will stun the mob briefly and make them vulnerable, making them take more damage from your next attack within 2 seconds. A mob breaking or knocking down your shield from a too strong attack will stun you with slowness and give you the vulnerable effect, making you take more damage for the next 2 seconds. Snow. Real magic. Added compatibility for defiled lands. Added compatibility for no tree punching, stones render on top of snow layers now, and general performance fixes. So, Many Enchantments. Many Enchantments fixed to work properly with RLCombat in offhand now. Re-enabled Pandora's Curse because Omega FU. Reworked Pandora's Curse so error. Message lost. Re-enabled Split Shot. Has different spread pattern than Multi-Shot. Split Shot and Multi-Shot cannot be combined together on the same weapon. Re-enabled Rusted Curse, not to be confused with Rusting. These work slightly differently. Find out. Tilling is now only applicable to hoes. Purification is now only applicable to axes. Curse of Holding and Decay fixed and reworked. Curse of Possession now properly deletes your item if you die with it instead of only sometimes. This is why I recommend often not putting Curse of Possession on in a normal survival world, but of course in hardcore it's very, very useful. Critical Strike now works correctly, added sound effect. Atomic Deconstructor now has sound effect and works in offhand. Plowing 1 and 2 now have the proper minimum enchantment, allowing them to be obtained in an enchanting table and no longer break bookworms. Fixed Bluntness not being able to be applied to anything, now applies to any tool or melee weapon. The following curses are slightly more common: Bluntless, Heavyweight, and Rusted. Fire enchantments now properly cause mobs to drop cooked food. Swifter Slashes has been reworked, now goes to level 5, does 20% per swing level, and 2% chance to bypass iframes per level. Arc Slash has been reworked and fixed, now 20% sweep damage per level from 25%, and correctly calculates sweep attacks now, which should no longer break other enchantments. Curse of Holding now gives debuffs properly when holding an item with this curse, and fixed a desync issue. Fixed Burning Shield Priority should work correctly again. Fixed Advanced and Supreme versions of Flame and Fire Aspect applying with normal Flame or Fire Aspect. Fixed several enchantment descriptions, not RLMixins. I did that. Good job. Slapped Education and Adept around. Education is now twice as potent as Adept, but doesn't work on bosses, bows, or with looting and advanced looting. Get over it. Adept is half the potency of Education, but works with looting and advanced looting, bows, and provides triple bonus to bosses. Oh yeah, neither breaks blights anymore. You're welcome. And thank you, Shiv. Education and Adept cannot be applied together anymore. This didn't do anything anyway, as one overwrote the other. Spartanfire, RLCraft Edition. Adds Dragonbone, Ice Dragonbone, Flame Dragonbone, and Myrmex variants of glaive and quarterstaff weapons. Adds Witherbone handles and Witherbone poles, which replaces normal handles and poles in all Spartanfire weapon recipes. Fixes repair materials for all Spartanfire weapons. Ice and Flame Dragonbone weapons need Dragonbones to repair. Myrmex weapons need Myrmex Chitin to repair. Fixes damage output for Myrmex Spartanfire weapons. And fixed not being able to catch boomerangs in midair on servers. The catch method was only being called on the client side. Spartan Weaponry. Fixed a rendering bug with quivers that could cause FPS drops for some people. Replaced Better Combat Rebirth compatibility for the more updated fork called RLCombat. Better Combat Rebirth will no longer work with Spartan Weaponry anymore. Fixed attributes from weapons not working correctly in offhand when dual wielding is enabled in RLCombat. Fixed daggers not working with advanced or supreme sharpness enchants when thrown. Fixed qualities not working on crossbows. Reach now extends players' reach by half a block, 0.5 blocks, and Reach 2 now extends players' reach by 1 block. Was previously 1 and 2, but due to Potion Core Reach being broken, this was never consistent. With the fixed Reach, 0.5 and 1.0 feels incredibly solid and now correctly stacks with all other Reach effects. Iron and Diamond bolts have been reworked. Iron bolt range now 1.25x with damage base at 2x. Diamond bolt range now 0.75x with damage base at 6x. Iron and Diamond arrows reworked to match their bolt counterparts. Note, Iron and Diamond arrows will still do less damage than their bolt counterparts as they fly slower, and speed still determines damage. Longbows can now scale draw time and arrow speed with higher materials. Tooltips updated to reflect these. Crossbows now scale load time and aim time and bolt speed with higher materials. Tooltips updated. Fixed damage modifier bugs for throwing weapons where only the most recent damage modifying weapon property was being applied and overriding previous ones. This should make silver and some add-on throwing weapons work properly again. Fixed the lance. Actually does more damage now based on your speed when on a mount. Epic Pog Poggington. Battle Axe can now take axe-only enchantments. Structures. 32 new end structures. The end is awesome now. Credit to the following awesome people who submitted these during the end structure competition. Rayquaza Fallout, Shadowcat, Fawny Monkey, Derzocker, Tybone, Hi There, Sememiliano, Stranding, Red Star Gamelock, and Frontenac. Added a ruined variant of RLCraft Planescamp. Credit to Stingin', good job Sting. Added new Nether cities. Hooray! Thanks, Ray. Added new Mega End cities. Hooray, hooray. Also thanks, Ray and Agent Starbuck. Added defiled cult structure. Ray and a little bit of me. Added Viking house structures for snowy biomes. Agent Starbuck. Added Vindicator Viking mansion structure for snowy biomes. Stranding. Added starter water base structure. Agent Starbuck. Fixed P Icy City structure not being able to generate. Fixed P Praise Perch structure not being able to generate and revamp the loot tables. Fixed P Sky Castles structure not being able to generate. Fixed P Snow Temple structure not being able to generate and modified diamond block layout. Fixed Pirate Chest generating 1 block too low, hiding the red X. And fixed Flagship structure having bad spawn conditions that made them way too rare. Increased spawn rate of Pirate Hideout, beach biome spawn only. Increased spawn rate of RLCraft Philbosaurus Rex structure. Increased spawn rate of RLCraft Wily Smile structure. Increased spawn rate of RLCraft Liquix structure. And increased spawn rate of RLCraft Swamp Hut structure. Slightly adjusted spawn rate of Colin Lore structures. Lower generation chance of RLCraft Vineyard. Fixed Cathedral of Madness structure, missing spires on top. Thanks, Ray. Removed command block from P Cathedral of Madness. They didn't do anything anyway. Fixed Waystone in P Meridor, and randomized XP tomes a little bit that spawn in 4 tower dungeons. Trinkets and Baubles. Lots of internal code changes, work real good now. New item, ISeeDragons Eye. Works like normal Dragon's Eye except gives hypothermia, immunity, and ice resistance. Immune to hypothermia, ISeeDragons attack, and ooze, frost, fire, ice, fire from Lycanite mobs. Dragon's Eye renamed to Fire Dragon's Eye and given new texture. Disable Dragon's Eye recipe using Ender Dragon Head, only craftable now with tier 5 ice and fire dragon skulls. Dragon's Eye treasury ability now has color specific particles for different treasures you can search for. Added tooltip to Ender Queen's Crown, prevents hypothermia. Ender Queen's Crown now extends a player's reach by half a block, and it was 1, to conform with Spartan Weaponry reach changes and reach stacking properly now. Ender Queen's Crown now has a 25% chance to teleport the player and negate all damage from a projectile, which uses mana. Added tooltip to Fire Dragon's Eye, prevents hyperthermia. Fixed Arcing Orb, Fire in my laser, control keybind. Teddy Bear now is placeable, just cosmetic, no functional effect. Teddy Bear has secret variants if named correctly on an anvil, try to discover them all. Fixed Dupe Bug with silver and umbrium ores when wearing dwarf ring or being dwarf race. Fixed health desync when logging in or out as different races. Reworked transformations. Added tons of new climbable blocks to fairy and goblin race. Sea Amulet. Now stacks correctly with Depth Strider, Underwater Strider, and Swift Swimming. Because of this, slightly lowered swim speed attribute from 4 to 3 on the Sea Amulet by default. Swimming physics have been reworked. Poison Stone now does 40% damage boost to poisoned enemies, was 50%, and fixed a serious dupe involving tamed wolves that could be ridden via the goblin race. Varied commodities. Fixed and re-added leather skirts. Skirts now works with Mobens. Yay. Slightly increased holy hand grenade explosion, radius, and damage. And removed various commodities bronze dagger recipe. Wearable backpacks. RLCraft edition. Backpacks now go into shirt bauble slot. Air horns. Backpacks can no longer be placed down in water. You're welcome. Backpacks no longer get deleted by placing them in protected areas, like a night boss protection. You're also welcome. Backpacks no longer have durability or armor. Backpacks now apply encumbered effect when wearing, which is minus 5% speed, minus 10% mining speed, and minus 15% attack speed, as well as increased hunger. Husks and strays may also spawn now with backpacks, and backpacks no longer enchantable. And finally, we've reached the list of minor bug fixes and changes. We'll go through these super quickly. Fixed spawn radius now correctly spawns player between 10 and minus 10k, was 5,000 and minus 5,000 before, because diameter equals / radius mojang. Fixed another exploit with Ironberry, fixed Magikarp quest, fixed broken mob spawner in jungle Doom-like dungeons, typo in config, fixed common theme Doom-like dungeons, swamp spawning in swamp biomes, typo in config, hid aquaculture fish fillet items from JEI menu as they're no longer used. Crafting wool and dyes no longer gives XP with the crafting XP skill in level up, which is probably a good thing, but now it's definitely going to change speedrun strategies for gaining XP required. Interesting change. Skirts can now take Aussie liners and legging liners. You're omega welcome. Warpstone now only has a 30-second cooldown. Unhid Bronze Sword in JEI. Bronze Sword now requires attack 4 and is smeltable. Removed redundant leather boots to leather crafting recipe. Removed redundant recipes from JEI. Fixed crops being able to grow in ocean and river biomes during winter. Disabled crops from being able to grow in Badlands. Crops can now grow in all seasons in a flower forest biome, just like Mushroom Island biomes. Fixed deer not spawning in traverse forest biomes. Added tooltip to Aussie liners to make it more obvious they are destroyed upon removal. It already says single install, ya nerds. Added reforging material for better survival crossbows, now takes wooden planks just like normal bow. Fixed scaling for fire protection, blast protection, advanced fire protection, and advanced blast protection enchantments. These previously hit the 80% damage reduction cap before level 4. Pimped out Flaming Skull dungeon structure in Badlands. Added tooltip for greenhouse glass. Holding and placed blaze rods now give off a small amount of heat. Added Neptunian loot to ocean Doom-like dungeons. Renamed the reforging station from Bountiful Baubles to Baubles Reforging Station to help differentiate it from the Quality Tools Reforging Station. Fixed chest of drawers, model to call proper faces now. No more vanishing sides and back when blocks are placed against it. Fixed fence recipes using stalagnite and reeds. Netherwort soup recipe now requires black apples to craft. Black apples cannot be bone mealed anymore. Explosion potion base is now thick potion. Burst potion base is now awkward potion. Possibly did something about Herobrine. Banner bounding box fixed. Fixed voiding your held item with clicking on an item frame with both left and right click at the same time. Changed Quark, great recipe, to output 4 instead of 1 now. Cobalt shield recipe removed to be treasure only item. This has been in since 2.9, was just missing from the changelog. Removed left alt and right alt drop key shortcut from inventory tweaks for causing crashes. Just use Q. Added glacier cream, opposite of magma cream, used for ice resistance potion. Snail shells can now be crafted into slime balls. So Kiwi, you've now got a use for going out and killing your snails. You get some slime. Neptunium armor and tools are now smeltable, and added Neptunium nuggets. Golem armor, Myrmix armor, and Deathworm armor now have new set bonuses. Looks like I have to do a new set bonus video anyway. Added new models and textures for living and sentient weapons. Miner's ring can now be reforged with iron. That's nice. Syncinacite frames now have a crafting recipe. Added shield smelting recipes. Hoppers can no longer be exploded. Crates can no longer be hoppered into shulkers. Angry face. Blacklisted composter from being used with hopper since it was broken anyway. Remove thatch to wheat recipe. Blacklisted and made empty splash and empty lingering potions unusable to avoid exploits. Made new crafting recipes to convert empty splash or lingering bottles into normal bottles. Fixed the dreaded stone spear recipe. Only rainbow runes can be turned into spectral silt now. Since we fixed the rainbow rune recipe and they're much more obtainable, that and every new structure in the end using an absurd amount of crystal blocks. Wildberry wine no longer infinitely buffs set bonus potion effects. Oops. Maze timeout generation 10 seconds instead of 20. Recurrent complex to Fonny's dismay. No, I did not disable mazes entirely. Fixed several incorrect and missing enchantment descriptions. Renamed Sharpshooter enchantment from Defiled Lands to Precision. Yay. Scarlight Reaver now gives leech effect for 1 second to avoid a previous exploit. Fixed missing tooltip with Umbrian pellets. Fixed some typos in Goopek's description. Wolves and foxhounds have been blacklisted from carry-on to avoid a potential dupe and for better compatibility with wolf storage. Crushed F3 plus A's hopes and dreams get good. I'm a big fan of this one as well because I've never used F3 plus A unless I was doing a speed run because it just felt cheap to be able to see through walls and stuff, and I was tired of people in my chat telling me to do it and having to explain why I didn't want to do it. So again, thank you, Shiv. Turned clouds back on, lil, oops. Both entity culling and particle culling fix some performance issues that help with FPS and should overall be much smoother. I don't know what that is. Added Dragon Steel. Again, I love your evil mind, Shivaxi. You guys will have to figure out what this means. Removed stick recipe from stalagnite planks to stop confusing players like Nags21. And here we've come to the end. We have a massive thank you from Shivaxi. RLCraft version 2.9 plus would not have been possible without the following people who spent countless hours, time and effort helping and working on RLCraft from their own sheer passion, even changing their mods specifically for RLCraft. Massive, massive thank you. Just running through the names here really quickly, we got Charles445, Fonny Monkey, Mel Dexon, Icebelly, Artsy, Hoonts, Emerald, Golden Alpharex, Twilight Star, Titan, Xcube, Rayquaza Fallout, Ict, X0, Lycanite, Block Vader, Melon Slice, Oblivious Spartan, Ejectaflex, sorry dude, Ejectaflex, Black Score, Yawn, Ship, Goblin Bob, Fanar, White Draco, Young, Harley Yuck, Harley OC, Shelter Rin, Nops, Cursed Inferno, Elenai, Ender Lanky, Creative MD, Macaw, The Awesome Gem, Janitry and Cephallo, Jared, Paulevs, Snowny, and Phantom Fantasia. Thank you to all of these guys and apologies for those whose names I may have butchered. And just a small thanks for myself as well to Shivaxi, all the guys mentioned, and also the RLCraft community. You know, I love the RLCraft mod pack. I love creating the RLCraft content for you guys, whether it just be the Let's Play stuff, whether it be the live streams, whether it be the guides and tutorials. I've really enjoyed being almost, you know, feeling like an integral part of the RLCraft community to some degree. And you know, I really appreciate all the comments and all the likes and all the views that you guys give the content I put out there. You know, I really enjoy being part of the RLCraft community. Yeah, man, little emotional moment there. No, honestly though, it has been an absolute blast, and I've had a lot of fun over the years with this mod pack and with you guys. And on that note, appreciate you listening to me ramble here for an hour, those of you that did. And hopefully this was useful to you. Hopefully I had it added a little bit of humor in there. And hopefully you guys didn't fall asleep with the ambiance and the ASMR voice. Regardless though, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. And as always, it's great to see you in the comments. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Take care.
SomeNutzGuy. Grab gaming by the nuts.